Hey guys, what's up? High Vibe Club. I'm getting a little nervous making this video, but I want to make this video. Yes, I am wearing my cute new bathing suit top. If you guys have been following me on Instagram and seen my post series I've been doing there about body positivity and about just like embracing my body for where it's at. For those of you who are catching this replay like years later, just go to my Instagram around June 2020, towards the end of June. But to get to the point, this video is about the saga of divorcing my family. And I knew at some point my journey was going to cross over into starting to see what I like about it, right? Because that's what happens. Forgiveness isn't forgiving the other person for hurting you. Forgiveness is when you release resistance, is when you release using them as a reason to justify, to explain where you're at in your life. I would be doing better, but they did this. I forgive them for holding me back. No, it's I let go of using them as my reason, as my excuse for justifying where I'm at. And I hit that point a bit ago. I'm pretty sure I did a post for you guys about that. And it's when I kind of woke up and I realized, actually, I don't think I did, so I'll do it right now. But I hit a moment where I realized, wait, do you actually expect the government, the school system, your parents to teach you everything that you need to learn between the ages of 5 to 18? And I went, that's actually, now that I think about it, I'm making a ridiculous request of my school system, the government, my parents. Every generation is supposed to outgrow the previous generation. That's the point of living on Earth, right? Because if we never outgrew, we would all be lighting fires around a campfire still. The first humans were probably super happy to discover fire and figure it out and then teach it. If we all just sat in awe, we wouldn't have houses, we wouldn't have international travel, we wouldn't have, and I know that you can make arguments that a lot of that stuff is actually hurting Earth too, but we wouldn't be where we're at today if we didn't keep, so that's when I realized I have to self-educate. When it comes to capitalism, whether it's because there was the oppressive upper elite class that wanted to keep us down, or maybe it wasn't evil. Maybe it was just they take care of teaching their own kids. Because I was reading about that wealthy parents teach their kids how to read financial reports, when middle class kids, that's me, our parents teach us how to go to school, show up on time, do a good job, get good grades, and how to be professional to work for the man, which keeps you in middle class. Poor class is obviously, you guys are struggling much more. And that kind of hit hard. I was like, I don't know what the fuck a stock is. I don't understand it. And I just had to have this moment where instead of like crying and sobbing that my family didn't teach me how to do that, instead of crying and sobbing about my aunts who completely took away a trust fund, I was supposed to be a trust fund baby. My grandparents were wealthy. My parents were not. It skipped a generation. Grandma set the trust up that the grandkids were supposed to inherit it when the kids, my aunts and my dad, they could petition to a bank if they demonstrated financial need. That was my grandma's way of ensuring that everyone would get money. Didn't quite happen. Grandma died before Grandpa, and my aunt changed it completely. And not only changed it, but completely kicked me out of everything. Like everything. I was even just kicked off a $3.99 family plan. We think that you're an adult now and you can pay for your own stuff. It's like, biatch. Okay. So obviously, did it hurt? Did it hurt when Grandpa gave me a car? She bitched such a fit that somehow 3 days later, he and I were driving the car in to sell it for cash. She took the cash and bought herself a new car, and then she couldn't understand why I was mad. She's like, I just don't understand why you're not happy for me and why you have a pouty face on. I was like, I didn't say this to her. This was all in my head. I I am a most excellent teacher of emotions and personal growth and highlighting for people when it's you're the toxic one. And I just thought, as I was looking at her, I was like, if I have to explain to you why me selling a gift that was given to me that no one else wanted, Grandpa offered this car to everyone else in the family first. My dad, my 2 aunts, everyone always shunned it. I loved it. My grandma and I, we had very similar standards. I was like, woohoo, yes, I love it. I'll take over insurance. I'll take over, yeah, Grandpa, yeah. And if you can't understand why I would at all feel a little hurt, especially when you go and use that money to buy yourself a car, then I don't want a relationship with you. I don't have to explain dumb... Okay, I'm going to word it this way. I don't have to explain dumb shit to dumb people. You could tell that I am at the angry vibration there. But in reality, it's just if I'm going to be in an up-close and personal relationship with someone, if I'm going to explain that to someone, it's going to be a transactional relationship. Because it's called developmental trauma, guys. She has developmental trauma. She has developmental trauma and is acting like a 3-year-old. And I'm really good at coaching people through that. So if that was a client and they were telling me about, my sister's mad at me because this, I'd be like, oh. I'd be like, okay, well, guess what? Here's your growth. Here's what you need to learn. Here's your communication skills you're working on. Here's your inner mindset stuff you're working on. And by the way, are you just ready to hear her point of view and how she was viewing it? So easy. My clients love me. They love it when I do that for them. They go, my sister and I are talking again. Okay. But I'm not going to do that for someone who's my aunt, someone who's supposed to be the older one looking out for me. Okay? So that's just for some of you who didn't watch the whole saga of my family story. That's just a little recap. They're fucked retards. Sorry. They have a lot of trauma when they were younger. They don't know how to be adults. That's the nicer way to word it. But anyway, so there's that, right? And then there's like my mom, who I don't remember her diagnosis word for word, but it was manic depressive bipolar with borderline personality disorder, something else, narcissist with suicidal tendencies, aka a lot of trauma at the age of 3. She had a lot of trauma at the age of 3 that she hasn't healed, and someone with borderline personality disorder, guys, that's essentially a 3-year-old. It's a 3-year-old who's a 3-year-old, but in an adult body. It has the mental capacity and emotional capacity to be a 3-year-old, and it has a label by a psychiatrist saying you have a personality disorder. So I kind of felt bad for them, right? So that's my mom. And if you've seen my previous videos, there was the why me, I'm not ready to let go of the hate. But it was just this morning, I was like, as I was sitting down and I was doing my work with my body, apologizing to it, and hearing my body say, yeah, you've been thinking this and this about us for a long time. You've been saying we're too big for a very long time, but in reality, we're just boobs. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I'm sorry. Sorry for being a boobist. And then came up like, your mom actively said to you when you were younger, I didn't want you. My mom said that numerous times when I was growing up. Many, many, many times. Well, I didn't even want you in the first place, so you better behave. I might just not feed you. I didn't want you in the first place. It was like always thrown in my face. It was this little threat. If I ever acted in a way that displeased her. Well, I just shouldn't be doing this much work because I didn't even want you. I thought your dad was sterile. The doctors told me that I was sterile. You shouldn't be here. Oh, you're only acting that way because I dropped you on your brain. A good daughter would listen to her mom and do everything she wants. It was fucked up, guys. And it was this morning where I just kind of fully realized a full self-compassion view for her. And it was because I was recently talking to her and I just asked her, like, hey, so has Eric talked to you at all? No. And I don't understand why he's cut me off. And I was like, why do you not understand why Eric has cut you off? And I don't understand why you didn't come home for Christmas. Like, how the hell do you not understand why? Do you not at all take any introspective time? You know, it made me think of my aunt. How does she not realize that taking a present away from me and selling it couldn't possibly hurt my feelings. I'm like, oh my God, this woman needs a lot of compassion. She's a 3-year-old in like a 60-something-year-old body. She's very scared. She's a very intrepid person. I'm starting to realize that when I view her third person, instead of putting the demands on her of being my mother, instead of putting on the demands on her that she should be the one teaching me capitalism, instead of putting the demands on her of teaching me everything that I think I need to learn, and why didn't my mother teach this to me easier? I've been spending my first 30 years just unscrambling the brain fuck she put me in. I was living a life of blame, living a life of putting on someone else to teach me everything I needed to learn. You know what? My parents are fine with their financial status. I'm not. I don't want hand-me-downs. I like new things. I like new earrings. I am okay that I want more financially than them. That means I'm going to have to teach myself. Okay, so I hope you guys see that mental switch there. Just admit, I hate that I don't know how to do X, Y, Z. And now I'm going to self-educate myself, okay? So now here's the loving part that came in from my mom. I realized, did I have a mom that my whole life threatened suicide to get me to do what she wanted, to get me to take care of her needs? Did I have a mom who, if you were really good enough, you would know how I felt? If you really loved me, Kelly, you would know that I wanted flowers today and I didn't want yellow. I wanted red, and she would throw my yellow flowers away. Oh, so you think you're doing a good job bringing me flowers to make me feel better? If you really loved me, if you were really intuitive, you would have known I wanted this type of flower. Like, guys, that's why I'm so good at my intuitive work. I was literally trained to focus on someone else's energy, completely ignoring mine. Why do you also think I'm so good at helping people develop boundaries and their preferences? Because that was my biggest struggle that I had to teach myself. And it's an ever unfolding flower. Every couple months, oh, this is a new aspect of me that I get to know. Oh, here's another new aspect of me. Hey, look, I'm 34 and I'm finally embracing little bikini tops. Hey, I'm 34 and I'm finally embracing that I love gemstones. Right? That's the point though, right? You're supposed to be getting to know yourself more as time goes on. And I was sitting there hugging myself about my body, positivity, and talk. And I went, oh my God, so I can view my life that way. I grew up with a mom telling me to my face how much I'm not lovable, how much I wasn't wanted, like I didn't even want you, you dropped on your head. Or I can realize, wow, she was a most excellent teacher of self-love. I guarantee you guys, if I didn't have a mom like that, I would not have learned all the meditations in my Me, Becoming Who You Really Are. That program is amazing. It teaches you self-validation. It gets you out if you have developmental trauma, it heals 2-year-old, 3-year-old developmental trauma without having to do 2,000 inner child painful stuff. I told my guides, how do I do this? They gave me a program. I did it. Phenomenal results in my life. Clients get phenomenal results from it. My mom taught me how to self-love. She taught me how to self-validate. If I didn't have a mom that didn't have a capacity to love, aka mean, emotional, numb, void. But if I grew up with a mom that had no capacity to share love and no capacity to take my needs on as her own at all, I was like a 2-year-old she's like, yeah, when you were 2 and you were trouble twos, I would lock you outside in the cold and I'd let you cry for a couple hours. And when you calmed down, then I would let you in. I'm like, that's fucked up. But if I didn't go through that, I now know how to self-validate and self-soothe so much that I have started to earn more than my parents. A lot of people can't earn more than their parents earned. I learned how to start my own business. A lot of people go into the profession and trade that their parents either taught them or encouraged them to go into. I'm developing my own personal development programs because my mom taught me how to self-love. And I just had this moment of a tear of like appreciation. I'm like, wow, she was my teacher for self-love. She was my teacher for self-validation. She was my teacher for personal self-responsibility. She was my teacher of me awakening to how smart I am, that I know how to self-educate. I know how to read books. And think of it this way, for a mom who didn't want me, She actively said she didn't want me. And here, I'll tell you some of her growth. So it happened when she was younger. I don't remember if she was 12 or 14. Her mom actually did commit suicide. And my mom was intuitive, went, oh my God, mom's dying. She picked up the phone because she was down the street babysitting and went to call home. But she said she felt a force outside of her push her phone down. When she woke up the next morning and walked home, the cops or the stuff was there. She was like, what's going on? They kept her outside, hush, hush. And then she found out her mom killed herself. And she right there went, oh my God, we just treated the mom like a mom. We didn't treat her like a person. If I had known that my mom was sad, I would have hugged her. If I had known my mom was sad, I would have hugged her. I wish my mom talked about her feelings more. So that's when I realized, like, I don't think my mom was as cruel as I thought she was. Why would you tell me you dropped me on my head? Why would you tell me I'm not lovable? Why would you tell me I'm dumb, I'm gullible? Like, she would say that shit to me when I was younger. And do your thoughts create your belief system, create your reality? So did I have a reality that sucked for a very long time? I was getting raped. I was dating narcissists because of the thoughts she told me, yes. But am I a full self-responsible adult who can teach myself? Yes. She wasn't being cruel. Were there moments where she probably enjoyed the power trip? Yeah. There's plenty of studies that show anytime there's anybody in a position of authority, there tends to be a little bit of a power trip. You can't base your self-worth or your self-love on if your mom or if your dad loved you enough, guys. That's an entire life of seeking your internal love and your internal validation from an external source that will very likely never give it to you. So she wasn't being cruel, yada yada, maybe enjoying a power trip. She was genuinely expressing how she felt. And then it dawned on me, instead of just hearing the mean shit she would say, then I started remembering, oh my God, my mom would always say, Kelly, be very careful when you have children. When you have children, you're responsible for them. It's more work than you think it is. You're a lot of work. I always heard I'm unwanted, I'm unloved, I wasn't wanted, I'm a lot of work, when she was just trying to say, kids are a lot of work. And Kelly, when you have a bad habit, you teach your kids. She's like, so be careful when you do it. Like, she's like, because I'm telling you, Kelly, if you have a bad habit and you haven't done any work to fix it up and you see your kids learning it, she's like, it's really hard to see. She was just trying to tell me. And think of it this way. At my age that I'm at right now, she had 2 kids. One was 4 and I was 3 years old. She lives in a place of fear. Had I had kids 3 years ago when she did, I remember the mental state I was in 3 years ago. I was not in a good mental headspace. I was self-depreciating. I was self-loathing. She grew up in a time and age when she didn't have as much access to birth control as my generation did. She had a kid when she was fearful of being a mom, when she was afraid of being a mom. She had a kid when she didn't trust herself. She didn't know how to love herself. She didn't know how to share. She is emotionally void, man. Oh, my poor mom. She doesn't know how to love, which means she doesn't know how to receive love. And like, now that I've had this view of self-compassion, when I see her on the phone call, and she's like, Kelly, but I don't see why she doesn't talk to me at all. And I was like, Mom, you did XYZ. Mom, you did ABC. Mom, you did DEF. Yeah, but is that a reason to not hang out with someone? I sent him an article that teaches you how to, like, let it go and not live in the past. And I was like, oh, like, good job, because that's what I teach people. Good job. But Mom, you're the perpetrator. He's the victim right now. Does it behoove him to live in victim mode? No. He needs to wake up and take some self-responsibility, heal, adopt new modalities. I was like, but Mom, when you're the person who, like, let's give you a physical example. You punch someone and beat them to the ground, and for like 5 minutes, you're like beating them, they're bloody, they're getting bloody and all that, and then you're like, oh, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. She went, oh, I'm the perpetrator? And I was like, yeah. Can you imagine being a fucking 60-something-year-old woman and You knew growing up that you had unhealed trauma because she was, Kelly, you don't understand. I learned this from my mom and I don't know how to fix it. And I know I'm teaching you. Don't do as I say. Don't do as I do as I say. Like, obviously, was that her kind of bucking some responsibility? Yes. But holy fuck, guys. I at least went through the inner child work, the trauma work, the discovering who I am. I can show emotions. I have very emotionally depth, intimate relationships now. I have very spiritual depth, spiritual intimacy relationships now. And this woman can't relate to, if you're, what you do with a 3-year-old is what my mom can do. If you want to color, she'll color with you. If you want to talk about the bird and go, pretty bird, and pet it, she's like, this is fun. We're hanging out, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I love you. You're so simple. You're a 3-year-old. Yes, I love you. We're petting the bird together. Let's color together now. I can't do that forever, right? I don't have kids for a reason. I want to take care of a kid. So I limit my interaction with her for that reason. But like, do you guys see that different way to view it? That woman really guided me to discover self-love and self-validation. And for that, I appreciate that forever. And for a mother who actively didn't want a child and who was actively dealing with a mom who did kill herself, and my mom just thought she was expressing how she felt because she didn't want us to deal with the same guilt she lived her whole life with a mom dying. She was genuinely just expressing the emotions. I didn't want kids. You're a lot of work. You're a bit like... And I knew she wasn't evil, so it led me on this path of, there's a lot of spiritual healers out there that call the narcissist bad and evil. Narcissist isn't bad or evil. If you're in a relationship with the narcissist, that means you're a codependent and you are just as toxic as them. And I say that as being a recovered codependent. Codependents are just as toxic, if not arguably more, than a narcissist. So instead of sticking to the victim story, he love bombed me. You didn't love yourself. Someone who has a fully self-cup wouldn't, just because they for one day or 1 week, because love bombs from narcissists don't last long, guys. They don't do that shit for a year and then back off. They do that shit for one phone call, 1 or 2 dates, 1 week, where they really put you on a pedestal. If you had an internal full self-tank of self-love, you would go, those are kind words to hear, instead of, my tank's so empty, here's this person saying nice things. Now I know what hearing positive things about me feels like. Wait, why are they being mean to me now? Love me, love me. If your tank was already full and they said those nice things, it'd be like, yeah, I do think I'm really good at what I do. Yeah, I love this outfit too. Thank you. Like, oh yeah, what do you love about this outfit? Like, oh yeah, you like that character trait about me? Cool. It is pretty cool, right? You wouldn't take it to heart. That person who doesn't know how to build a long-term intimate relationship with you, after 2 weeks, they keep saying the same thing to you. They'll be like, okay, I've heard you say that before. Is there anything else there? They didn't trick you. They didn't love bomb you. They helped you become aware that you're love deprived and you now need to love yourself. You now need to call in and figure out how to nurture better relationships in your life. Okay. Rant over. So when you're 2, you're learning some key facts. The self-concept of me, you, we, they. If you guys want more on that, you should go watch my video, Why Did I Attract a Narcissist, up on YouTube. But you're developing these concepts, the self-concept of me, that I am a unique individual person with unique individual preferences that can be separate from you. You are a unique individual person that can have your own thoughts and energies. Sometimes we need to do things together to achieve something that we couldn't alone. They are responsible for themselves. If you don't have a fully formed self-concept of me, you're an empath, you're a people pleaser, you're a codependent. If you don't have a fully formed self-concept of you, that's when you're a narcissist. And watch my video, Why Did I Attract a Narcissist? I'll explain it even more. So the narcissist and the codependent have the exact same trauma at the exact same age, making them a perfect vibrational match for each other. They need to learn the self-concept of you. You need to learn the self-concept of me. So when a narcissist is bullying you, it's they don't have the self-concept of you made. So and the way they view the world is, I got to take care of my needs. I have to take care of my needs. I have to take care of my needs. I'm a good leader. Here's what I want to do. They put together the plan and they're like, if they're my partner, they'll like doing these things too. So when you critique their plan, they're like, well, then why are you with me? If you didn't want to do it, you shouldn't have done it. Because they don't have the ability to see you as a you. They see you as an extension of themselves. Because they have a fully formed self-concept of me and they. They're really good. No, I'm not helping them with their problem. That's their problem. And that's why you were attracted to them in the first place. Oh, wow, they know how to stick up for themselves. They'll stick up for me. No, they were just highlighting for you your personal growth that you needed to do. Okay. Okay. So when you don't have a fully formed self-concept of you, you don't know how to see another person as unique and independent. That person can't be in a relationship. When you don't have a fully formed self-concept of me, you don't know how you feel. You don't know what you want. But when you see someone who's a narcissist, like, oh, wow, he really knows what he wants and he goes for it. It's attractive to you because it's a trait within you that you're trying to develop. So I hope that help explains, guys. No one's really evil. It is unhealed trauma. How long are you going to stay in? And it's okay for as long as it takes you. I'm 34 years old and I have had my first moment of like, oh my God, my mom was a good mom. She didn't want children and she still had us. She could have had an abortion. She could have given me up for adoption. She didn't want children and she still helped me go to college. She still encouraged me to go to college. She was an uneducated woman herself. She, go to college, Kelly, go to college, go to college. At the time, did it feel like peer pressure to me and I wasn't ready to go to college? Yeah. But that degree has served me very well. Go to college, Kelly, go to college, Kelly. Do you need me to pull out some loans for you? For a mom who didn't want a kid, she did a lot. Was she narcissistic? So a lot of it was to glorify her. Like when she put me in sports and she would coach and ref, it was a lot of, look how good I did. Look how much I love you, Kelly. I took you to your soccer. Yes, of course. But you see all that she did do? How much can you just have compassion for where someone's at? And obvious compassion for yourself and knowing that it's an interplay of, do you want a relationship with them or not? I don't have it in me to have a relationship with my brother right now. He is too far down the rage. He's too far down in anger. He has all the PTSD and PTSD from my mom, and he went to war. Not only did he go to war, he went in as a ranger. He went in as a special forces. The man isn't sleeping. He's diagnosed with like insomnia 3. He doesn't sleep. He is a ball of rage. I can't interact with him. I don't know how. He just sits there and yells at me, and I'm like, oh my God, I just listened to like 8 hours of being berated. Gives you an idea of how he feels about himself. And he's not even sleeping, so he doesn't have time to process it. Like, holy shit. So it's not that you have this compassion so that you can be in a relationship with them. It's that you have this compassion to recognize that's where they're at. Any judgment you have against them, anything you viciously hate about them, or anything you put them on a pedestal for, they're serving as a mirror for what your growth is, nothing more. Let them do them while you do you. But don't use someone as a reason why you don't have something you want right now. Identify what is it that you think they're taking away from you. Now, how do you get that? What is it that you think that they didn't teach you that's holding you back? You go teach yourself that. Love you guys. Bye.